I'd like to invite everybody to the 15th annual Rock River Valley Carvers annual show and sale. And with us today we have Tom Couts, the president of the Carving Club, and he will tell us a little bit about the club here in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Well, good morning. Wonderful to be here. We have a great setup this morning. This morning we've got our Carving Club's show and sale, as Vern just said. Our Carving Club has members from all over southern Wisconsin, Whitewater, Monroe, Rockford, Janesville, of course, Beloit, Clinton. So we have representatives from all over, some coming up to Madison as well. So we welcome everyone here this morning. Our club has been in existence for quite some time. We welcome new members. We work with brand new people on very simple beginning carving projects so they can take and learn how to carve. And we work with more experienced carvers on carving and painting and all of those things, and getting people to classes to really upgrade their carving skills. So our club welcomes new members. Contact us. We have open carving on Mondays and Thursdays at the Janesville Senior Center, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. For those that are retired. For those that are still working, we have open carving sessions on the first Tuesday and third Tuesday of the month at First Lutheran Church, and it's been working out very well. We meet once a month at the Janesville Senior Center in the evening for our monthly meetings. Again, if there's questions, please contact us. We'd be happy to work with you.
We're here again at the Rock River Valley Carvers show and sale here at the Rock County Fairgrounds. And with us is another guest vendor of the show, Jesse Bordy, a JB Wood Crafts LLC. And he's a chainsaw carver. And I'd like to have him explain a little bit about what that entails and what type of carving that he does.
So I've been a chainsaw carver for just over 2 years, and what we try to do is pull out a vision from inside of logs. So generally most of us around these parts use white pine logs because it's soft and easily to manipulate. And for me, I do mostly commission pieces. So I have a customer contact me or through word of mouth or through my website, jbwoodcraftllc.com. And I have a meeting with them, have a conversation, have a sight view. Sometimes there's a stump that they want to carve into a creature or a scene. Other times they want a present for a friend or family member. And I help elicit their vision and then bring it out of logs and wood. I like to do original pieces. I don't do two of the same anything. As you'll see around my inventory here, I don't have two of the same thing. So I like to do individual one-of-a-kind pieces to help provide an emotional response for that customer. And I've had a really good time doing it, and I learn every day. Part of my learning journey has been with Jeff Moore, the Northwoods carver out of Oxford, Wisconsin. Can't credit him enough. He's been a master carver for over 20 years. And he's helped show me the ropes. And I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep making awesome stuff.
Good. Glad to have you here today, Jesse.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me. We've got some really great stuff inside, some really masterful artisans inside. And I hope some of those guys can appreciate my work like I appreciate theirs.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Here at the Carving Show, we have the show and sale chairperson, Brad Crandall, and he'll tell us a little bit about what it takes to put a show like this together.
Well, first of all, I am a member of the Rock River Valley Carvers of Janesville. And one of the functions of our carving group is to help promote artistry in wood carving, so it doesn't die in our country. And one of the functions that we perform is a show and sale, and that's to provide the public a chance to see the various types of carvings and give the carvers a chance to exhibit their artwork. Initially, you need a place to hold your show and a date. And then beyond that, you end up with a lot of advertising. We advertise in some of the major carving magazines and in local radio and newspapers around our community. And so that's kind of an ongoing thing for until we have the show. The club attends various functions, and we set up easy ups and display our carvings. We print out quarter sheets and posters. The quarter sheets we hand out to people come view our displays. And like I said, it's an ongoing thing, working to promote the show. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. So.
Okay. Now here at the carving show, we've got the featured carver, and that is Ernie Tucker, a longtime member of the carving club. And he's going to tell us a little bit about his experiences in carving. First off, Ernie, I'd like to have you tell us a little bit about when you started carving, how long you've been carving, and tell us a little bit about some of your favorite projects that you've had over the years, okay?
All right. Well, I started carving in February 2005. That was a year after I had my stroke. And I retired immediately, of course, and I needed something to do. Well, at the time I was making canes and walking staffs. I was at a store up in Baraboo, and there was a cane with a very, very super simple face on it. And I thought, oh, that would look good on mine. So I saw in the paper that the Janesville Senior Center had a bunch of wood carvers, so I went down to see them. And, of course, the rest of the history. Today, my carving is way beyond what I thought my capabilities would be. In fact, I didn't know if I could carve at all. So some of my favorite carvings are all on this first table over here. They're not for sale, of course. That's why they're my favorite. But faces is my favorite subject to carve. Well, I do carve other items. Faces, especially in cottonwood bark, is my favorite.
For those viewers, Above and Beyond Award is an award the club gives to a carver every year that we have a show. And that award is designated to that person because of their help and assistance to the club and its carvers above and beyond the norm that a person would. So we always recognize one person every year for their extended efforts in promoting carving, not only in the club, but also in the community. Another one of our guest vendors today is Rod Wilcox from Woodworks up in Minong, Wisconsin. And I'd like to have him explain a little bit about what that all entails as far as being a wood provider for carvers.
Well, we start out buying the logs in semi-loads, and then we cut them to what they make. We don't try and force them to be into any one size. We have enough of them, we can pretty much go through and pick out the ones that work for whatever you'd want. So we make the bark board and the thin boards, and we turn some stuff on the lathe. And other than that, we sell a lot of blocks of wood, and it's a good northern Wisconsin stuff. We have our own kilns and our own shop to cut it, so everything. I always say if you get a good piece of wood, it's because of us. If you get a bad piece of wood, it would be because of us, but we don't send the bad piece. So.
Yeah. And we'll put on the screen on how to get a hold of Rod up there for all your wood needs.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Again, here at the Rock River Valley Carvers show. Again today we have Rosie Couts, who not only is the treasurer of the club, but she also does the great job in doing the newsletter. And she's going to explain a little bit about how our best of show works at our show and sale and in the process.
Hello. We have a People's Choice contest at our carving show every year. There are 4 categories: novice, intermediate, open, or advanced, and then a wood burning category. The public that comes to our show can vote on what they think is the best entry in each category. Each exhibitor is allowed 1 entry. And at the end of the show, we award first, second, and third place ribbons to the winners that the public has voted on. In addition, we are asking the exhibitors only to vote on what they feel is the best carving or wood burning in each category. And we are awarding some cash prizes for the exhibitor, for those that win the exhibitor voting contest.
Thank you, Rosie. Here today at the Rock River Valley Carvers show and sale, we have a guest vendor from Hummel Carving Company down in Beloit, Wisconsin. And first off, I'd like to welcome Cindy and her crew here today. They're one of the largest, if not the largest, carving supply company in the world. And I'd like to have her explain a little bit about the company and if they have any questions or needs of Cindy and the company on how to contact them.
We have several items ranging from hand tools to power carving tools, anything that you can imagine that deals with carving. And you can reach us by going to our website, hummel.com, HUMMUL.com, or you can call us, 800-762-0235, and just give us a call and we'll try and set you up with whatever you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you, Cindy. With us now at the carving show, we have Mike Eubanks, who is not only a board member, but also the webmaster of the club's website. And he's going to explain a little bit about the raffle process that is conducted here at the carving show.
Well, to start, Randy Callison has been collecting stuff for the raffle, and then people will bring it in the day of and the day before as we set up. And we have to add it all, make a list of everything that was given and who gave it. And we give everything a number, put that number on the can with, for that. And then we have a list when we go to draw that will have everything on it. And then whoever's number is pulled out will be written down on that list, and that's, as the winner. And that will be handed out if they're here to them. If they're not here, then we have their telephone number to get a hold of them, make arrangements to get it to them. It's a lot of work at the last minute.
Yeah. And roughly how many items get donated on an average year?
We're over 60 this year.
Okay.
And that we've been over 70 in the past, but
Yeah.
it
So
was
it's a wide
a wide variety of stuff. We have baskets, goodie baskets. We have canes. We have bark carvings, and we have wall hangings. It's just a wide variety of stuff. And it's all been donated by either members or, there's several wood carvings themselves, like Tom's owl over here. And we got a wood chainsaw carver, did a feather, that's in there. And we have a study cast of a loon, if somebody was going to carve a loon.
So you have a lot of different stuff.
Right, and we're trying to instead of the way that used to be, where the person would have to write out every ticket. We're doing it where they get a number, they sign in under that number, and then they can use that number all day when they buy tickets.
Okay. Simplified the process.
Right. Tried to simplify it so people aren't sitting down writing out 15, 20 tickets every time.
Sounds like a good process, Mike.
And it was something I saw a club up north do when I went to one of their shows. And it made sense. So we thought we'd try it down here.
Okay. Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here at the carving show, we got another special vendor that we've invited to take part at our show, and it's Jeff Navarro, the owner of Jeff's Kitchen here at North Washington and Memorial Drive in Janesville, Wisconsin. And we just wanted to have Jeff make a couple comments, but first off, we wanted to thank him for being a part of our show.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to seeing you for breakfast and lunch up at the kitchen. Thank you.
Want small? You can try that and see if it fits. You got a knife, you got a knife, you got a knife, you got a knife, you got your own knife. You need a knife? Okay. Should have one extra. That's what I use. I use a ceramic rod, sharpen a lot of my tools. It's not diamond honed and stropped, but it gives a real good edge real quick. Yes, it does. So I have a number of different knives. The size of the project I'm doing determines what size of knife I have. So on something like this, you'd want a large one to reach over. Something smaller, I make earrings out of the same thing. I make them look like a icicle, but they're about this big. So we will start with your first page here in your manual here. This is not what your first icicle is going to be. First icicle is going to be like this. It's got two legs. This, I call them legs that come down. This one has two legs. It's just a good starter one to start with. So open it up. It shows pictures of where you start, how you start to draw your lines on your icicle. Goes on, shows you how to carve it, where you get to. This is more for reference when you're done. This is also reference for when you get done. This is how you draw these out. Each one of these icicles, you can make it, we have one leg, which is just a spiral all the way around it. Doesn't go through, of course, or it would cut in half. Two would be, you got two legs, which is what we're going to be doing today, this one. You can do 3 legs, you can do 4 legs, you can do 5 legs, you can do 6 legs. I've seen one with 8 legs. So, but it gets awful delicate down in the bottom when you're doing one with multiple legs on it. And when you get down here, we'll talk about it later, but it gets real fragile down here, especially when you're doing basswood or something like that. it gets real delicate down in here, and when you're carving, you don't want to squeeze too much on the bottom. It will break through. So, I mean, it will break it. So, these are the instructions on the back here for all the different sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And they're all a different way you lay them out to start with. The line on the blank, is the middle of your cut. So you cut the middle, that's the middle, you cut to the middle. Line disappears quickly. That's why I use a magic marker rather than a pencil or something, because by the time you get down here, the line's gone and you can't see it anymore. So we start on the edges. Start on the edges. On the edge of the, let's go up here to the top. Top short little line. Yes, you better. Make a V cut. Like that. A V cut. That one right there, yeah. Now when you're looking to make the V cut, make sure that you make the V cut with the knife on the bottom line and on the line on top. If you follow this line down, like here, you follow this line down and you keep going that way, you'll miss the line below it. So if you just come straight out this way and keep cutting this way, you'll miss the line below it. So you always cut that at the angle it's at. So do that down that whole line with a little V cut in each one of those lines on the corners. Go down. It's you don't all the way down one side. You don't want to have to push. It's real soft wood. So you don't need to push real hard. That's what people get in trouble with when you're trying to push too hard and it slips. It's a very, you can slide the knife just a hair, slide the knife.
Everybody you're going to find does wood burning or pyrograph different. So here's one. I took this picture and I made the tracing of it. Okay. Put that on there. Then I take a piece of graphite paper like this.
Raffle with a brown table.
And feed it underneath where it's like that. Then I use a red ballpoint pen and I'll trace that.
Dwayne Fay won the...
Okay, there's your pattern.
Number 40.
Okay, now for burning the lines, as you can see, I've got a number of different tips here.
Next is the mallet from Randy
Now
Gallagher.
my burner unit is a coal
Number
wood.
37.
I can adjust the heat on it.
Hurt bugs.
Now, when you're doing pyrograph, it's better to use a unit that you can adjust the heat.
Mallet from
The pen I use is a replaceable tip. In other words, I can take
Next
the
is
tip
the,
off. Different tips to do different things. Now, this particular tip, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. It's pretty fine. And that, okay, the number is M on the cold wood. Okay, now you can see here where I can adjust my heat. Now, when you burn enough, you learn what your settings are for what tips you're using. This one, I have my setting at 50, and that's just to burn the lines. So I'll go ahead and do that.
A favorite tip that you use for?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a lot of different tips, but basically I use 3, 4
The Bark House
tips.
by Jim
You can do just about everything with them.
3 and 4?
This one's for the line. This one, it's what they call a writing tip. And then this one here is a shader. In fact, the shaders, you have different sizes and that.
39.
Thank you.
But you take once you get into it long enough, you kind of learn what works best for this application or that. I found most of the tips that I purchase,
The
I
golf
don't
ball
need
carving
them.
kit.
Shader, writing, and this one.
But you can get like three or 4 tips. You can pass it around and you can see what it looks like. You can use it for drawing lines. I use it filling in, and one thing when you're burning the line, if you're off the lines a little bit, it really doesn't make that much difference.
Again, or
If you need to. Now, one thing when you burn, here I can show you here, when you burn with the grain, it's going to burn darker and deeper. So I'll just go on the side here. No, that's all right. This would be scrap. See on how that is?
with the grain, it's deeper.
That one line, where it's darker. Now I'll go across it. Now keep in mind when your tip touches the wood, you're going to lose a little bit of the heat. So what you learn to do is what they kind of call the
Judy and Todd Hart.
airplane effect. You don't set the tip on the wood and hold it there, then move. Just do it with a motion. See? Slow down. Or you can turn the heat up. But one thing I've learned over the years is start out light and go slow. And if you have to go over it, do what they call layering. Go over it, especially on the shading.
Graph paper out and start drawing again. So what I do is I draw the profile on there. Now I have all my little squares to measure off of. And places that I need to cut out, I'll bring these lines over after I've drawn them all in. Then I know where to cut there. Then when I put it like this, I can draw in the proportions according to the line next to it. You follow me? And that keeps things in proportion. And then you know you have to, all right, I need to make this longer or shorter and stuff. And so I still have problems with it. And most of the time I just go on and finish it and hope the best for it. So But most of the carvings I do, I'll pass this around real quick, is I'm doing a miniature chess set. I've had several people say, have you ever done a chess set? No, I've never played chess. I have no idea what chess is about. So I didn't plan on making it. Well, COVID hit, and I've been carving like crazy and decided I needed something to slow me down, so I'm going to carve a chest. One, that way I got a bunch of carvings in one location. Somebody wants to buy it, that's fine. But, I even got so desperate I carved a shorebird. That was way out of my line. But it came out pretty good. I was happy with it. So when my stick gets back here, I like to call it my square approach to round carving. Yep. Yeah, I use this one to see what happens. That was a spider. And I'll start on the other end. This is going to be the king to the chess set. I got one king. I got one piece done out of 32. Well, I'm going to come in here, and what I do is I'll round the sides. Or actually, I'll turn this into a hexagon. Is it a hexagon?
I just call it a stop sign.
Yes, that's good.
An octagon.
Octagon? Thank you. Are you an engineer? Okay, good. Then I can start telling engineer jokes. Okay, I've just basically flattened the sides. This is still pretty much flat plane. Then I'll come in here and carve around for the head. Oh, this is split, so we're just going to carve a quick piece here. So it's semi-round. It's okay. Really? And I decide what I want for the front, and I think I will make that the front of my carving. And I made a cut down here, which is going to be the top of the ears. The top of the ears is actually kind of a way to lay out your face, so it gives you an idea. Now I'm going to V the front of this. If you was to stick a square in here and come all the way back, flatten that out, your head would fit in there just perfect. And that's what I mean by a square, is if you put it right here, everything will fit in that plane. So I'll carve like a V. Now I'm going to come from the top of the nose up. Roughly that's going to be the nose. But right here I'm going to make the top of the ear, and that's going to start setting everything on the face. You cut down at an angle, your ear turns in. That's the center of your eye, usually. But that's what you use to look at somebody if you're trying to carve their face. You know, you sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's less. So I've got this side set. Now it curves in. This top of your ear is your eyebrow. You bring it around. Now I'm going to come in, and I want to keep the ears at the same elevation, so I just roll it around. Do the same thing. And they're both the same height. Well, that's good. That's a good sign. Okay, I'm going to bring this down. This is the size of ear I want. I'm going to come back here. There again, roll it around. Okay, now I see I got to bring my nose down. I got to think, is this? Yeah, bottom of the ear is even with your bottom of your nose. Usually.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's Halloween character.
Yeah. So now I know that my eyebrow and the top of my ear are going to be the same. I'll come down with a cut. Pretty close. Now bring his nose down. Just kind of eyeball his ears and bottom of the nose. Now, a good idea is to have a pencil and draw a center line. I haven't used pencil much lately, so I'm just going to cut at an angle. And I always make the width of his nose much wider because it's going to end up small every time, no matter how hard I try. And I'm going to cut out the side. By the way, if you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to ask. Now, you see I did the right side first. Now when I go to do the left side, what am I looking at?
The right side.
The right side, so to keep it symmetrical.
We need to recognize Randy for a lot of hard work, and we've got a surprise guest here for you.
I get a blonde too?
Yeah.
Whoa! All right.
Well, Randy, the members of the club have elected to present you to the Above and Beyond Award for this year, and here's your individual plaque for that, and your name will be enshrined here with all the other members and hung up in the Janesville Senior Center for all of your hard work and dedication to this club. Without work from volunteers like you, none of this would be possible. So, again, my sincere thanks, and I'm sure the sincere thanks of everybody else here in the club for your hard work, and appreciate it. You want to say something, Randy?
Thank you.
A man, a few words.